Hi, everybody. Welcome to this special PTO edition podcast. I have with me the captain, our captain, Craig Alexander. Hi, Craig. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you for the invitation to come on.
Thank you for accepting it. As everybody knows, this week we're gonna hold the PTO, the Collins Cup, let's say, qualifying event. And Craig is our captain, so Brazil represents the international team. So the captains are you, Simon Whitfield, Erin Baker, and Lisa Bentley, right?
Yep, that's correct. Yeah.
It's good. It's a good team, right? You guys could race as well.
Oh, maybe 10 years ago.
And this week we start explaining people, because all this Collins Cup thing and PTO, there's a lot of information, like how the ranking works, what's the PTO, because here in Brazil, because of the coronavirus, we haven't had that much racing at all. So people are more used to hear about the PTO on the Challenge Miami, Challenge Daytona, and etc. So you guys will have to choose between, you have a team of 12 athletes, 8 we're going to be selected automatically by the PTO rank, and 4 it's your job to choose it, right?
Yeah, that's correct. So there'll be automatic selections based off the world rankings or the PTO rankings, and then at the cutoff date, we still have to pick 4 more, two males, 2 females. So yeah, the captains, we'll get together and we'll pick who we think will be best suited to the race, who's in good form. And so I think it's important as captains that we pay attention to all the races, because like you said, because of the pandemic, it's been hard for some athletes in certain regions to race a lot. And because of that, maybe the rankings aren't a good reflection at that moment of who's in good form. So I think it's very important that, we pay attention. There might be athletes who are not names that everybody recognize, but who have improved a lot the last 12 months or 18 months. And then we see some really great performances. And I think it's important that not only you pick athletes who have a good reputation and a good ranking, but it's important you pick athletes who have really good form and a good desire to want to be at that race at the Collins Cup.
Yeah, it's not an easy choice, because you guys are 4 people having to choose between these guys with the pandemic, and also there's gonna be Kona in 2 months later. So who's gonna be picking for this race, picking for Kona? Yeah. So it's a tough choice, right?
Yeah, I think it's hard. I think there's a lot of considerations, because like you say, initially the Collins Cup was supposed to be in May. And I think if it was in May, maybe it makes it a little bit easier to pick, because everyone would want to be available. But now being so close to Kona, it'll be interesting to see. People will be, as you know, people will time their training preparation differently, depending on which weekend or which 1 or 2 week period they want to be in their best form. So, I think it's important that that's why it's extra important we watch the races and also communicate with the athletes about who really wants to be in Slovakia at the end of August in good form. Because for me, and I know Simon Whitfield feels the same way, it's important not only your reputation, but who's got good form at the time, but also has a desire and a motivation to be in that format and that style of racing in August.
Yeah, I was checking the ranking, the update ranking to now. So you have the qualified people like Leonel Sanders, Teresa Adams, but you have people there aren't on the automatic cutoff, but you have like Ellie Salthouse, you do have Emilia Watkinson, so you have Henry Schumann. So there's a lot of good names there. It's going to be interesting also to fit the race, the competition, because you have to face another team. So you have to choose the right people that want to be there. That's going to be the other team, right?
Yeah, and I think that's a very important point you just make. It's not a normal race where you have 50 people on the start line. You have 1 person from Team International, 1 from Team Europe, and 1 from Team US. So it's 3 people going head to head. I think it's a different dynamic. You're looking for athletes who maybe thrive in that sort of situation with nobody around them, because each team sends someone off 3 or 5 minutes apart. So it's kind of like a lot of individual little races. So I think you make a good point. You have to pick athletes who maybe potentially don't perform so well when there's 55 people because it's a big group. This is going to be a very small group. But usually, you know, the best athletes are very good in all three disciplines. So, but it is an interesting element, like you say. I think it's something that's going to be unique about the Collins Cup and the format of that race. It's going to be something different to what we've seen before.
Is it easier to be inside or outside the track?
Well, it's easier that you don't have to do all the training. But, you know, I think every athlete would like to race forever, but unfortunately you can't. That's what you love to do. And if you're a competitive person, I know every year that I've been to Kona to watch, and I haven't raced there for a long time now, a little part of me wishes I was out there still because you love it, you know, it's what you love to do. But, you know, time moves on and we have the next generation of superstars. So it's been certainly enjoyable to watch. And I just love the sport. So I love watching all the races. I love watching the half distance racing. I think for me, it's very competitive, very deep, a lot of talent. I still love to watch Ironman racing, and I love to watch the WTS races, the short course racing. You know, the best triathletes are the best triathletes, and they find a way to win in any race, in any situation. And yeah, I'm just a huge fan of the sport, but I do miss racing a little bit.
Yeah, you've been doing this for your whole life, so it's not easy to just get used to not racing, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's something that you do for a long time, and you know, I'm still very lucky to be involved in the sport a lot with some good companies, good sponsors, and also a little coaching business. And you know, the Collins Cup, I was very excited actually to be asked to be a captain, because I think, you know, the next best thing to racing at that level is to be involved somehow and watching very closely. So yeah, I'm super excited, and I was very happy to get the invitation to be a team captain so I can still be there and watch.
Awesome. Like, it's a VIP room, so you can watch everything happening in front of you. And
that's right.
I was studying a little bit about the Collins Cup, and you guys are do you know how it's going to work, the microphone thing? Because the captains will be able to speak to the athletes during the bike leg, right? How is it going to work? Do you know?
I don't know how it's going to work. It's something we've never seen. I must say I like a lot of the innovation that the PTO and the different ideas they've come with, you know, and ultimately they're trying to make the sport more enjoyable to watch, make it a good product. So, and you know, you guys are doing that this weekend with your race. You're trying to package it up and give good commentary, but also make it interesting, give some backstories about the athletes and their history. And I just love what the PTO have done since they've been involved in the sport, with trying to develop personalities and, you know, not only that, but also just make the people in the sport more visible and tell the stories around their background. You know, I did an interesting interview with Teresa Adams, who you mentioned before. She's one of our athletes, and you know, she was an international water polo player before she started triathlon, and she started very, very cool story, you know. So I kind of, being a sports fan, I like all those backstories. So I really love what the PTO have done, trying to just create a whole storyline around every race. I love their different ideas. You know, the Collins Cup is similar in, I guess, idea for people who like golf, the Ryder Cup, that sort of a style, a team event. I think it'll be very cool. And I know the athletes that I've spoken to who are involved or who want to be involved, they just like the idea of that team concept, because usually in our sport, you race on your own. So I think that whole team element brings an interesting layer, and also the communication that you mentioned and the dynamics, and also the tactics. Who do you put up against which athlete? You look at the team list for the other teams and you think, okay, who in my team matches up well against? I just think it's quite interesting. And if we tell that story to the people watching, I think it'll be kind of cool. But yeah, there's a lot of things, I guess, because of the pandemic last year, we didn't get to run the first year. So we run this year. So, you know, as we go through, we'll see how the world rankings work, whether that needs a little bit of work, but also the communication and the dynamics on race day itself. But I'm super excited because I just love different ideas. And it's something we haven't seen. You know, we've seen a lot of different things in the sport. I know the sport obviously started as Ironman racing, and then well, that was the main thing that everybody knew. And then we got into the Olympics, which was very cool. So now the sport represents a lot of different things. And I know when I started in triathlons in the mid 1990s, we used to have a series in Australia, which was on television, and it was all little short super sprint. It was called the Formula One series. And it was sponsored by a bank, St. George Bank, and then it was sponsored by Accenture. I just love those cool innovations. I think it's very good for our sport to evolve. And I think the next sort of evolution is the Collins Cup and this team racing. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
As an athlete, did you like someone talking to your ear, like while you're racing, or just like, shut up, boss, please?
Well, I don't know. We never really had it other than the crowd talking, but I think it'd be kind of cool. It'd be like being a Formula One driver and the team boss who's sitting there watching. He can give you information, and I think in those situations it's kind of less is more, though. You don't want to be talking the whole time, but if there's some information you can give the athlete that helps, I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, with this example, I can imagine now, like you just say like someone is like two seconds ahead, 2 seconds before, and you can just situate the person a little bit with a broader vision, right? Yeah,
and what I've noticed about athletes and the sport now, as opposed to maybe when I started, there's more information now as well with technology, with power meters and heart rate, and the athletes thrive on that. I think a lot of the athletes love that information because it helps you go quicker. So yeah, I think it'll be cool, but you probably don't want to talk too much.
You're gonna get people pissed a little bit.
Very upset. I was listening. Go faster.
Yeah, push harder, and the guy's like 100%. And okay, I was listening to your interview with Teresa Adams that you just said, and you said that you when the team will be after the team will be selected, you guys will be hosting like a camp or something before the Collins Cup?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how it works. Obviously, we'll be very much guided by the PTO, but I think it'd be kind of cool to once we know who the team is, to promote who the team is, and so to promote the athletes in the team, but also to promote the event itself. So I think obviously we're still a little bit restricted with travel and different things, but I think there could be some cool ideas that once I know at the very least we'll be together for 1 week before at the actual race, at the race venue, so we can do some really nice promotion there. But I think it'd be good to maybe do some things with the team, even if it's on Zoom with a whole lot of athletes, but just to talk and just to build a bit of anticipation around the event as well.
And also to get the feeling that you said, right, about feeling who wants to race whom and who fits better with whom. It's
and just find out from the athletes as well, because obviously as someone watching, the history of that athlete, but you want to know what their current form is. And someone might say, for instance, I've had a run injury, but I'm very strong right now on the swim and bike, so you match me up against this person, or so I think there's little dynamics that as this whole thing comes to pass, we will see. It'll be very interesting.
Awesome. I was listening to the other interview. It was Sam Long with Mark Allen, and they were saying about making some simulation about head to head, and they say maybe it's going to be like Jan Frodeno, Sam Long, and Lionel Sanders, for example, on the same time. It's going to be interesting to watch from home.
That would be a great matchup. All of those guys. I mean, obviously, in my opinion, Jan is probably still the big favorite, but Lionel for me is a guy who he wins a lot of races, but still I think we will see more from him in the future. So I think he's one guy who he never surprises me, Lionel. So I'm glad he's on our team, and Sam as well. Sam's an up and coming young guy who just seems very motivated. So that'd be a cool matchup. So I mean, I think there's a lot of great potential matchups. And part of it is, I know Lionel has made no secret of the fact he wants to race Jan. He wants to go against Jan. So I like that. I think that for me, that shows a motivation, but also like a desire to want to be involved in this team thing as well. And Yeah, so yeah, it's kind of cool. It'll be interesting, if the things that the athletes are saying publicly is exactly how they feel privately. You never know, but yeah, that's one of the things as well for me, like this whole, not only just the PTO, but the Collins Cup more specifically. I think there's some really cool little outcomes that we could see. But yeah, there's certainly the standard of racing. When you consider we haven't had a lot of racing because of the pandemics, the racing that we have seen has been so good. The athletes have been performing so well, and it's as fast as it's ever been, or faster. So yeah, watching some of the best go head to head in that kind of head to head match racing, I think will be very interesting.
Yeah, for sure. And the trash talking before the races are good to keep the hype. I think it's a good thing. Like Sam Long does it very well, and Sanders like to buy this movement as well. So it's nice to keep the expectation high, and also to put some fire on it. It's good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the thing. Like every athlete's different. Some like to talk, some don't talk as much. But even the athletes who are quiet, they still have a fire burning inside. So, but yeah, it certainly doesn't hurt to build expectation and a bit of drama when there's some trash talk.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, and okay, so we're reaching the 15 minutes, and I like to ask you to give like a warning to the Brazilian athletes that you'll be watching them and they can be selected. The captain is watching you.
Yeah, well, I just want to say to everyone who's racing this weekend, it's not a warning. It's an opportunity. Yeah. It's an opportunity to race strong and bring your best race. Because for me as a captain, and I know when I spoke to Simon and Lisa and Erin as well, of course we look at reputation, but most importantly we look at current form. So even if there's an athlete who's up and coming or someone we haven't heard of, we look at them equally as we do a world champion. We just look at the performance this weekend. So I would say you have a great opportunity to all the Brazilian athletes this weekend to put your name right up the top of the list, because what's very important, I think, when picking this team to race, of course, we want athletes who are in form and who are motivated to represent the international team. So yeah, have a great race this weekend and put your best foot forward, as we say.
Craig, thank you very much for having us, and we will send you some message on the Sunday, like some inside information, so you can pick up the best people, and count on us whenever you need. And really nice talking to you.
You too, Gabriel. Thank you. Thanks for your time, and good luck to everyone racing. Good luck with the race this weekend.
See ya. Bye-bye.